At more than 4,000 meters above sea level, where the air is too thin for unprepared lungs and the cold never leaves the skin, thousands of people wake up every day to face a reality few could endure. There are no easy roads, no modern comforts, and no room for mistakes. Here, survival isn't a choice, it's routine. This is the Himalayas, and this is the real life of those who call these mountains home. In Nepal, living in the mountains means walking for hours along narrow trails suspended above deep chasms, carrying everything on your back and relying entirely on the weather, the animals, and the strength of the community. One wrong step can mean days of recovery. A snowstorm can isolate entire villages for weeks. And yet, families remain there generation after generation. While the world knows the Himalayas through climbers and the highest peaks on Earth, the real story lies far below the summits. It lives in hidden valleys, stone villages, homes warmed by wood-burning stoves, and the calloused hands of those who farm, raise animals, and endure the harshest winters in Asia. This is home to peoples such as the Sherpa, Tamang, Gurung, Magar, and Thakali, communities that learn to survive where the human body naturally struggles. For them, the mountains are not a tourist challenge. They are sacred land, a source of food, and at the same time, a constant threat. In winter, snow seals off paths, freezes rivers, and turns isolation into the norm. In summer, heavy rains trigger landslides that erase entire trails. There is no easy season. Every time of year demands adaptation, planning, and absolute discipline. In the Himalayas, villages seem to be placed in impossible locations. Stone houses cling to steep slopes, separated by narrow paths where only one person can pass at a time. In many stretches, there are no guardrails, no protection at all. One wrong step means falling hundreds of meters below. These communities remain completely isolated for much of the year. There are no roads connecting higher villages to cities. Everything arrives on foot, or doesn't arrive at all. Food, tools, gas, medicine, and even school supplies are carried on people's backs by local residents or porters who walk for days just to supply a single village. In some regions, the only connection to the outside world is a suspension bridge made of steel cables and wooden planks, swaying over violent glacier-fed rivers. Crossing these bridges is part of daily life. Children cross alone to get to school, elderly people cross to visit relatives, animals pass through carrying loads heavier than their own bodies. The houses are simple and sturdy, built from stone, mud, and local wood. They have thick walls to trap heat. The roofs are low, made of stone slabs or metal sheets weighed down, so they aren't torn away by the wind. There is no central heating. Warmth comes from a wood-burning stove that runs day and night throughout the winter. Inside these homes, life is quiet, light is dim, coming from solar lamps or oil lanterns. Water must be collected from distant springs or melted from snow. Bathing is rare in winter. When temperatures drop sharply and the risk of hypothermia assault is real, every movement is calculated to conserve energy. Electricity, when it exists, comes from small solar panels that only work on clear days. One cloudy day can mean complete darkness. Phones are charged with extreme care. Communication is limited. In some villages, a single phone serves as the emergency contact for the entire community. Isolation isn't just physical, it shapes behavior. People depend on one another for everything. If someone gets sick, everyone helps. If a house collapses in a landslide, the entire village rebuilds it. In the Himalayas, surviving alone is impossible. Even so, the day begins early. Men head out to tend the animals, yaks, goats, and sheep that endure the extreme cold. Women take care of the home, the firewood, the food, and the children. Everyone works. There is no idleness in a place where the climate never forgives. Living in the Himalayan mountains requires more than mental toughness. It demands a body adapted to the extreme. Above 3,500 meters, oxygen starts to run thin. Above 4,000, simple tasks like walking, carrying weight, or climbing a few steps make the heart race. And yet, this is the altitude where thousands of Nepalese people work every single day. The diet is simple, repetitive, and functional. The main dish is called dal bhat, rice, lentils, and vegetables. It's eaten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's cheap, easy to prepare, and it provides enough energy to face long, cold trails. In higher villages, rice is replaced by potatoes, barley, and wheat, which are better suited to the harsh climate. Meat is rare. When it appears, it usually comes from goats, sheep, or yaks slaughtered on specific occasions. Yak milk is turned into butter and hard cheese, used for cooking and for making the famous butter tea, a hot fatty drink that helps the body retain heat and energy. This isn't about taste, it's about survival. Work starts early and ends only when the light is gone. Men and women carry loads weighing 60, 70, sometimes over 100 kilograms, strapped to their foreheads with a band called a namlo. Everything is transported this way: sacks of rice, gas cylinders, wood, cement, furniture, doors, windows, and even dismantled refrigerators. Where there are no roads, the human body becomes the only means of transport. Porters walk narrow trails for hours, breathing with difficulty, feeling the cold burn their lungs. They stop, lean forward, rest the load on the ground, and continue. There is no rush, there is no alternative. Every step has to be steady. Over time, the body adapts. Lung capacity increases, blood carries more oxygen, the heart rate adjusts. Children who grow up at these altitudes learn early how to live, where visitors fall ill within hours. For them, thin air is normal, constant effort is normal too. Even so, the risk never disappears. Altitude sickness, exhaustion, falls, frostbite. In the Himalayas, the body is constantly tested and deeply respected. And when the work is done, there's still firewood to cut, animals to tend, food to prepare, and paths to clear of snow or mud. Rest is brief. The next day begins the same way. When winter reaches the Himalayas, the landscape turns into silence and ice. Snow blankets trails, rooftops, and entire fields. Paths that were already narrow vanish completely. Bridges become slippery. Rivers freeze solid. In some regions, temperatures drop to minus 20 degrees Celsius or lower. During this time, isolation stops being a choice and becomes the rule. Entire villages are cut off for weeks, sometimes months, with no contact with the outside world. No supplies arrive, no doctors come, no news gets through. Everything that exists is what was stored before the snow fell. That's why every family prepares in advance. Sacks of rice stacked high, potatoes stored away, firewood cut and piled up to the ceiling. Inside the homes, life is concentrated in a single room. The wood-burning stove never goes out. It cooks, heats, and dries wet clothes. The walls are stained with soot. The smell of smoke seeps into everything. Windows are rarely opened. Heat is far too precious to waste. This is the environment where children grow up. They learn early how to deal with cold, silence, and physical effort. They walk kilometers to school, often facing snow, wind, and frozen trails. Some attend distant boarding schools, staying away from their families for months because winter makes returning impossible. Toys are rare. Childhood happens outdoors, among rocks, animals, and mountains. Children help at home, care for younger siblings, fetch water and firewood. Here, growing up isn't a choice, it's a necessity. Health is a constant challenge. A simple cold can become serious. Injuries heal slowly in the extreme cold. In higher villages, there are no hospitals, only small health posts or traditional healers. In emergencies, the only possible help is to walk for hours or days to the nearest village. Even so, these communities endure. Religious festivals continue, even in the cold. Prayer flags flutter in the wind, carrying requests and gratitude to the mountain gods. The Himalayas are not just a difficult place to live. They are sacred, and when spring finally arrives, melting the snow and reopening the trails, life begins again. The villages can breathe once more, but winter always returns, and with it comes the annual test of endurance. In the Himalayan mountains, life is not separate from spirituality. It moves alongside it. For many Nepalis who live in these regions, the mountains are not just scenery, they are sacred beings. Buddhist monasteries appear in improbable places, clinging to steep slopes, surrounded by colorful prayer flags. Each flag carries mantras that, according to local belief, are carried by the wind, spreading protection and balance. Before long journeys, many residents stop at the temples, light incense, and ask for safety before facing the trail ahead. Everest, known locally as Sagarmatha or Chomolungma, is not just the highest mountain in the world. It is considered the mother of the universe. For this reason, rituals are performed before any expedition begins. Respect for the mountains is part of survival. To challenge them without permission is seen as recklessness. This spiritual bond helps explain why so many people remain, despite the hardships. The mountains give, but they also demand. They provide water, pasture, protection, and identity. In return, they require respect, discipline, and acceptance of risk. Today, modernity advances slowly. Trails see more tourists. Antennas appear in some villages. Young people leave in search of education and work in the cities. Even so, many return. Living in the Himalayas is not about conquering nature, it's about adapting to it. While the world rushes forward, these communities follow a different rhythm, shaped by cold, altitude, and the silence of the mountains. A rhythm that is harsh, simple, and deeply connected to the land. And would you have the courage to live like this for a while, enduring an entire winter in isolation, without comfort, without roads? If you want to keep discovering places where life exists at the very edge of what's possible, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Here, every week, you step into realities few ever see, but millions live every single day,